one thing. Read it when we send it out. If we're gonna postpone this, read it. Just read it.
Like, the committee itself went over it. I'm pretty sure the GLA not go over it. I think that we all have our different jobs to be able to put trust in each other that we've gone over it. I don't think we need to extend this any longer. If we're gonna vote on it, we might as well vote on it today, since most people have seen it, and it's been gone over thoroughly from what I
Yeah, no one, he's saying that we could waive it by unanimous consent. But most of you don't understand the concept of that, so we're not gonna do that today. Is there any more discussion on the amendment to the motion to postpone the amount of the approval of the bylaw relating the director of community outreach? Senator Dunn.
Okay, I just want to say, this sounds like a really good idea. I mean, I'm not opposed to the idea. The only reason I suggested postponing it is for accuracy, that everybody's seen the exact wording, because we don't want to pass something and then later on people say, well, this says this or this says that, this didn't say that. I want to make sure everybody's looked at the wording that's documented, so we've all agreed upon the wording and what it says. Because you telling me what it says sounds great, and then later on people come back and say, well, this says this, and there's an argument. So I just want to make sure that everybody had the opportunity to see it verbatim exactly as it's written. That's the only reason I suggested it.
Is there any more?
I yield this to Mario, Director Mario.
Okay, on this topic, I know you weren't during the speak. Can we, a lot of times emails are sent out and they're unopened. Let's be honest. The committee has gone over it. I've sat in on meetings as well. I think prolonging it another week will be the same. We'll come back to the same thing, and people won't have opened it yet. So we talked about it. We looked at it. All things seem to be clear. From GLA standpoint, there's no discrepancies. From a Senate standpoint, there's no discrepancy. From an ad hoc standpoint, there is no discrepancy. I suggest that we approve this and get the text.
No more lobbying. Okay. Okay, seeing none. All in favor of the amendment, please raise your hand. The amendment would be to postpone the motion to approve the director of the bylaw regarding the director of community relations.
Was it?
All opposed? Okay.
Abstaining.
Abstaining? Okay. Motion fails. Back to the main motion. Is there any discussion on the main motion?
I had a question. Was it sent out? Okay, request for information. Was it sent out?
Was this sent out?
Was the
bylaw?
Yeah, was the bylaw sent out?
We sent it out to, they sent it out to GLA, we reviewed it, I brought it in, and we talked about it on Monday's Senate meeting. So we discussed the contents of it.
How about for the people, like,
Minutes.
I read those, but how about like the document?
Okay.
Because like that $25, I didn't know it was 50. There was like a huge discussion written about it.
It was 50, but then they changed it to 25.
That was all. Yeah, that was all I've said. But discussion.
All right. All in favor of approving the bylaw regarding the director of community outreach? All opposed? Abstaining? Motion passes. Okay, is there anything else for the community of outreach ad hoc committee?
Negative.
Okay, moving on to the SAM Host Planning Committee.
All the things that we needed to do for the SAM conference. We've already booked a block of, or reserved a block of rooms at the Holiday Inn. That's where all of the conference participants will be staying. They got a really low rate, so that's good. I contacted the Secretary of Student Association of Michigan, and I'm waiting for her to get back to me so we can discuss some details. Also, the President of Student Association of Michigan is supposed to be emailing me some stuff, not received those as yet. We talked about what we were going to do for the entire weekend that they were here, tours, where we want to eat, the reception that we were thinking about having. Talked about a planning packet, and I think that's it. Go ahead. That's about it.
Actually, next meeting, we'll be submitting a budget to be approved.
And if anybody has any questions about what's going on, you talk to Colbert or Marcus or I, or come and stop in at our meeting, which is on Mondays.
We don't have like a rough estimate on a budget?
We're gonna give you guys a detailed budget.
Yeah, we'll have
but
a
I'll just
detailed
show you
budget, we
that
don't,
number.
there's no point in really doing a rough one. I'd rather have details to the point. Okay, if there's no more questions, we'll move on to the Unified Student Code Committee. Who'd like to address this? Senator Ransom?
Not really much of a report as of yet. Now that we have the community outreach thing, bylaw, pardon me, approved, it's just a matter of now it's all getting in a room and going through that. So there's a possible amendment that could happen to this bylaw also, just so you all know. But this is something that's gonna take quite a while. We haven't set a meeting time yet, probably something next week at the latest. Yeah, it's pretty much a 2-day job, a really long one, but about it.
Are there any questions? Hey, seeing none, we'll move on. I was just informed that Best Day Ever is actually not an ad hoc committee, so that was a typo. So if there's no objections, we'll strike that from the agenda. Seeing none, we'll move on to ex officio reports. Are there any ex officio reports? Hillary, do you have one? Or?
Can I give one?
Yep.
On CAPS, Campus Activities Board's behalf, the Trillium Movie Night is tonight. You can redeem your ticket between 6 to 8 p.m. at Trillium Cinemas in Grand Blanc. Yield.
All right, moving on to old business, and we will start with Best Day Ever. Director Cameron, you have the floor.